Hey, you guys. I started like a minute early because I wanted, before Pookie decided to jump off of Tom's lap.
She's being good.
Yeah, she's been sitting there a really long time.
Yeah,
Look
she got
at
the
her.
little kitten mittens coming down.
Yeah, that's what I call them, her kitten
Yeah.
mittens. Hanging around there. Well, hey, you guys. Nice
Yeah.
to see you once again. What the hell's today? It's Monday. That's right.
Yeah, I was talking to Saad on Messenger there, some private messages talking about the damn new UFO stuff that's coming out.
Oh, new UFO stuff.
Yeah, see, he's up in Saudi Arabia. He knows about my granddad working for for Grumman Aerospace down for the Shah's Air Force in Iran back in the 70s,
Yeah.
and that's when that damn Tehran UFO sighting happened, and he was working for the company. They came down and asked if there was any kind of special, because they picked it up on a spy satellite, the U.S. government.
Yeah.
It was an intelligence agency. They went to Grumman down there in the Tehran area that was helping build that Air Force, full of F-14s. And they asked if we were working on anything secret. I said we. Shit, I would never work for Grumman. They asked if they were working on anything secret. They picked up something. They showed what it was. It was the satellite sensors picked something up, moving it at about Mach 9. I think it was Mach 9, Mach 10. And they picked it up through a spy satellite. And at that same location, the same area, the Iranian F-14s were engaging lights in the sky that shot a little light ball, went down to the ground, it lit up the ground, and it was just this big pulsating light. It kept jamming their systems. It wasn't an Earth aircraft. It was some kind of craft. They put it down as an unexplained phenomenon.
Well, yeah, I guess they would. It's like, I don't know what the fuck
unexplained phenomenon. It moved away. It moved out. It was huge. It was the size of a damn 737. There's like an airliner. And it moved away, Mach 10 plus. Yeah, no. Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff going to be released. They're saying right now, Pentagon's saying there's a bunch more UFO stuff that they're willing to talk about. And it's stuff that came from spy satellites. They're seeing unexplained phenomenon. Telling you, they know.
Come on, aliens.
They don't know what it is.
Quit dicking around.
They don't know what it is, but they know it's not military stuff.
Just land. It'll be fine.
They're fucking some kind of drone. When
Let
I
us
say
say
drone, we assume we're waiting for more people to show up. We assume that spaceship with biological organisms in it. I think that's highly unlikely. It's going to be something more like the damn monolith from 2001. Yeah. It's going to be like that. It's going to be some kind of a non-biological intelligence that's immortal, can travel the fucking gulfs of fucking space. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to go faster than light because it lives so long. It doesn't care that it takes 10,000 years to get anywhere. There's nothing for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would only matter if you were biological.
That's true.
So it's something post-biological. They're just watching us probably. We're probably in their territory.
Yeah, they're just, like I said, we're just like the game preserve.
Yeah.
Stopping by and make sure we're not causing any trouble.
Well, probably what it is they're like, well, eventually they'll make AI and that will evolve into something like us and we'll talk with that.
Yeah.
We're like
we don't want to talk to those losers.
Yeah. It's probably just a normal part of the evolution. You start off biological and then you start transcending biological. You're downloading your soul into a fucking soul internet and then you just become machine and immortal. Like that thing out of 2001.
Yeah.
It's going to be like that.
Look at
Which they got that right. I believe that's probably anything traveling the Gulf of space is going to be like that monolith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Messing with their little beans.
Flying saucers with little people in them and little biological entities and shit. That's a 1950s concept. That's not how technology's going to go.
Yeah. Well, they didn't know back then.
Yeah.
They were just pulling stuff right out their ass.
Yeah.
I can't believe Pookie's been sitting there for this long.
Oh yeah, she's enjoying the show, Pookie.
Yeah, she's like, hey, I'm on. Look,
saw,
everybody's looking at me.
We saw a real good movie last night by the same dude who did Sicario and that other one.
Wind River. That's the thing. It's like I didn't really know about because when Louis sent us Wind River and we watched that and I really liked that, and then we had Sicario also. Yeah.
I don't know if he made Sicario 2. But Sicario 1 was pretty good.
Yeah, maybe
Even
not.
though 2 was better than 1.
You think?
Sicario was still good.
I haven't seen the second one.
Yeah, the second one was even better.
But yeah, so I didn't even know this was like kind of like a loose trilogy or anything like that. And then when somebody said, it was probably Louis actually, said, "Oh, you should totally watch Hell or High Water." Yeah. And then when I was on Hulu a day or two ago looking for some new movies to watch, I'm like, hey, they have Hell and High Water right there on Hulu.
We watched it. It was an excellent movie.
Man, it was so good. I can't believe I missed it. It came out back in 2016. And it's like, this just shows how closely I followed shit even like 4 years ago. This was actually nominated for like a shit ton of Golden Globes and a shit ton of Oscars. And I guess the script for it, which was called Comancheria or something like that, it was kind of going around Hollywood. You know how they have that thing, if you know anything about Hollywood, like screenplays and stuff, they have a thing called the Blacklist, which is kind of like the 10 most popular scripts that haven't been made yet. And you know, that are going around and everybody's trying to get them made because they're, you know, the most popular ones. This one was like on the top of that, like for 2015, I think. So yeah, this was actually written by Taylor Sheridan, the same guy that wrote, you know, like we said, Sicario and Wind River. He didn't direct it though. The director was David Mackenzie, who's a Scottish fella. Okay. So, but the writer was the same. And I think that,
you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell the writing's excellent.
You know what? I think the best thing about this, I loved Wind River, but I think I like this one slightly better. The cool thing about this one, I think, is that the characters in this are so fucking great. Like every single character in this is a really good, compelling character. You're
rooting for the bad guys and the good guys. They're all kind of good guys.
Everyone's sympathetic. Everyone's sympathetic.
Even though they're killing each other.
Except for that douche in the green car at the gas station. That dude was not sympathetic.
Yeah, right.
And he got his ass beat. And rightfully so. But so you're kind of rooting for the cop characters and you're kind of rooting for the bank robber characters because, okay, so if you don't know, like, what this movie is about, it's basically, they call it a neo-Western, which I guess it is. It's supposed to be set in East Texas, although I think they actually shot it in New Mexico, but you know, whatever, close enough. And it's these two brothers, Toby and Tanner. Now, Tanner has just gotten out of prison, and Toby has an ex-wife and a couple of teenage sons, and they decide that they're going to start robbing some banks. Now, I'm not really sure. I guess on the you know, description of the movie, it says why they're robbing the banks, because you can kind of sympathize with the reason that they're robbing the banks. It's not just like they're robbing the banks because they want to spend it all on hookers and blow. They actually do have a good reason for needing the money.
What I like about this movie, hold on, let me interject a little bit. If you like old Star Wars and The Mandalorian, then you'll like this writer that did these three movies, because Mandalorian and Star Wars, when it's written well, is basically rip-offs of these kind of movies. These are frontier tales, westerns.
Yeah.
Right? And this guy does a really good job at capturing the American situation in the Southwest and in the South. That's where a lot of this stuff takes place.
Yeah, that are kind of like remote areas or areas that are kind of like forgotten.
It's a totally different world compared to, say, New York, California, or Europe. It's totally different. It is like a Star Wars fucking Mos Eisley type situation in a lot of these places. Even though it's a modern civilization, you know what I mean? You have shopping malls and bullshit like that. But most of America in that area is a system of, or a network of dead towns. Yeah. And
which you really see a lot in this movie.
And that's the frontier when you think about it. And these guys are on a campaign of bank robbery, going through these dead towns. They're targeting a specific bank because they got reason to. And it's not easy because, like I said, this is in the South. This is happening in Texas and where, Arkansas?
Texas and Oklahoma.
Texas
Oklahoma, that's right. Where they go. They go over the border into Oklahoma to like launder the money, like at the casino or whatever.
And you're not going to be able to just go into these little towns and start robbing banks and get away with it, man. It's pretty accurate. Yeah, the locals get involved. The locals get involved, and it happens a lot because they're carrying guns and shit. And which that's accurate. There's a lot of shit that goes on in these small areas that never makes national news because it doesn't fit into the narrative that the national news. But in the local news, it'll tell you, fucking straight out of the old west, man. Basically, posses form and guys are helping the cops and just people on the spot on the scene trying to stop a bank robbery, and you're just a random dude with a gun. All that shit happens. You know, it's a good story. Real good story.
I mean, should we spoil why they're robbing the banks, or should we not? I don't even know. I'm not saying, but they do actually have like a sympathetic reason for robbing the banks.
They got a grudge against the bank.
But like I said,
and
understandably,
a lot of people have a grudge against the bank. It's talked about in the story. You know, there's also a lot of references to the Indian casinos. They go the casinos on the Indian land. There's a lot of that stuff going, which I mentioned that in earlier shows, which that's a pretty cool phenomenon. I've been to many of them. And then what happens on those reservation casinos? It's like something out of damn Star Wars. It is.
But like I said, I think the best thing about this movie, the characters are amazing. I really, really like the fact that you can totally sympathize with the brothers, even though they're doing something illegal, technically. Yeah. But you can totally sympathize for their reason for doing it. The interplay between them, it's Chris Pine and Ben Foster play the brothers. And the interplay between them is great. I think my favorite part of the movie was the interplay between Jeff Bridges' character. He's like the sheriff or the ranger or whatever. And his partner, who's like half Native American and half Mexican. Yeah. And they just like
they drive each other.
They just bust each other's balls like all the time.
Yeah, there's kind of a Tonto Lone Ranger fucking quality to it, but they're also just busting each other's balls through the whole fucking movie.
And it's hilarious. Yeah. And even like a bunch of the side characters are hilarious. Like that really cranky like waitress at that one place where the cops go to. It's like the T-Bone Grill or whatever it's called, and it's like they only have one thing, and she's like really, really crabby. Yeah. And then this movie, it's like actually because I saw Wind River, which had some moments of levity in it, like some kind of funny moments in it, particularly toward the end. But so I guess I wasn't prepared for how funny this movie was going to be. Like, and all of the humor pretty much comes from the interactions between the characters. I mean, it's just, and the situations that they get themselves into.
Well, they're like regular guys, but they're regular guys for the area. Yeah, area. They wouldn't be regular guys for, say, like New York or Boston, but they're regular for the Southwest and Texans, they're wild asses. It's fucking funny, though.
Well, it's just, and like when they're first like robbing the banks, because their plan is they want to like stick to like this one particular bank because they have a grudge against that bank in particular, and probably intelligently they want to stick to like really small branches, like in really small towns, so that's not they
don't want to get the feds involved,
right? So and they're not stealing like huge amounts at one time because like I said, they don't want to trigger like FBI or anything like that.
The bank robbers, the two guys are brothers and they're cowpokes, which are cowboys. That's what they do. That's what they did for a living.
Yeah, they grew up like on a ranch.
Yeah, and so they got cowpoke skills. They're good. They're pretty good with guns. They're not real good at robbery. It takes them a while to get ahead of that. But you just got to watch the movie.
Well, there's a steep learning curve with that. You know what I mean?
Figure that out. And but they had a good plan. They had a real good plan.
It did actually end up being a good plan.
It had a lot of good elements to the story. There was heroism on both sides, self-sacrifice on both sides. There was a conflicting missions and a conflicting values, but both sides were kind of like, in a way, kind of good guys. Yeah. Well, no, the robbers were not. They were good guys. They were committing crimes, which you're not supposed to do that, and people were getting killed. All right.
Yeah. So that's not so good.
So,
I would argue that the one brother, Tanner,
he did most of it.
That was his
and
kind of
he atoned for it in a way. You just got to see it's an Old West story. So
pretty much,
it's not to be judged by the moral systems of outsiders.
Yeah.
It's kind of a Southern thing.
But like I said, I really did love like not only all the characters in the middle of the story, but also all the side characters, like the waitress of the thing, like the first
Yeah.
at the first bank that they rob, like that woman that they, you know, they come in there and it's like they're kind of
They can't believe they're robbing a place. You're like, you're robbing this place? Yeah.
it's like, what the hell? It's like, you know, and it's like you got in here before the safe is even open. Do you even know what you're doing? And she was just like, she was kind of busting their chops too.
Yeah.
She's like, look, if you leave now, all you'll be guilty of is being stupid.
And they had a pretty fat girl waitress that didn't want to rat him out.
Because they left her a $200 tip.
Left her too, so she didn't want to rat him out.
Yeah, because the cop,
cool.
Yeah,
she thought they were cute, so she didn't want to tell on them.
Well, and the cop too was like, "Well, we need that money because it's evidence," and she was like, "Yeah, no, that's like half my mortgage payment. You're not getting it."
Everything was fucking accurate for the region. They go into a place called the T-Bone Cafe, and really the only thing on the menu is fucking T-bone steak. And she just throws
and a
her
couple
weight
of
around. You're not really ordering. She's telling you what you're gonna get. And then
I love that.
You tell her what you don't want.
I'm like, I love that lady.
I don't want the green beans. Or I don't want.
I love that lady so much.
Oh, see?
Oh no!
Look at that shit.
You killed baby.
We got that shit on video. We're gonna use that at her trial. Okay, that's evidence.
Oh my god! Did she run away? She's like, oh shit! I'm in trouble.
She's smelling fucking Grogu. Going, is it dead? Did I kill it?
You killed Grogu.
I told you no.
Oh, Pokey.
No.
She's like,
she's looking guilty. I didn't mean it. Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't believe she did that.
Yeah.
She's like, well, it worked. You guys are paying attention now.
Yeah.
Tammy's like, Pookie. She's so crazy. Gramther's Hammer says, my favorite line was soccer. Anything a 5-year-old can do isn't a sport.
Yeah.
All the shit about like Jeff Bridges' partner, like putting the fucking what do you call them, like the radio preachers on and like watching the shit on TV and everything, and they were like giving each other shit about that. That was
all kinds of good stuff.
I mean, so funny.
It was an accurate movie,
and it was just, I mean, like everything about this movie, I just loved everything about this movie.
Very
like,
American.
The cinematography was gorgeous. Yeah. The characters were all memorable and they were all funny. There was just like funny shit. There was tragic shit. And it's just, and the edit was really, really good. It was like really, really tightly edited. It didn't have any fat on it, any filler, anything like that. Yeah, and I also like how they did the whole cowboys and Indian parallels. Yeah, there's a big theme of that there wasn't really any difference between the two. There was the same kind of moral system, like. They actually say it in a certain ways throughout the movie. And then at the end, one of the bank robbers basically starts doing Indian stuff, but he's doing it a cowboy way, basically singing his own death song. And his death song was an Irish cowpoke song. Yeah. You remember? Yeah. Because he knew he was going to die. Yeah. He was giving up his life. And then he said that this all made him a Comanche. Because the Comanches were the enemies of everyone. Yeah. So yeah, there's a scene in the casino. It all makes sense. Yeah. Which, like I said, I guess that was kind of like a theme because the original title of this was Comancheria. I guess that's how you would pronounce it. But so you said this is a Scottish director. It is, yeah. Well, she knew how to tell an American story. I was watching another review of this, and somebody said, "Man, it's really interesting to see a European director, and how they don't shoot the U.S. like landscapes the same way an American director would, maybe because they see the oddities in it. Probably I think that's what it is. We take it for granted, and they don't. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, but I really, really did like the cinematography, and I mean, like I said, when we talked about Wind River, the cinematography and that was gorgeous too. That was like that was all snow and shit like that. And this is like all desert and shitty looking towns that nobody lives in, like with empty streets and crappy like billboards everywhere and shit like that. But it's just like, yeah, I loved everything about this movie, and I'm amazed that it took me this long to get to it, and that I didn't even realize that it had been nominated. It got nominated for so many awards that it not only has its own Wikipedia page about the movie, but it has a Wikipedia page just for all the awards it got nominated for. So that's how many it got nominated for. And like I said, I feel bad. I'm sorry, Baby Yoda. She jumped up and ran when I did. Pookie's like, she's mad because Grogu's like, Grogu is cuter than me. I'm gonna knock him over. Is it a boy or a girl? I can't remember.
Sitting there wagging her tail.
Oh.
Like, okay, it's up there. She's fucking funny, man. You put it back, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not dead.
Yeah.
Holy
It's
shit,
not dead.
Pokey.
She was laying there next to it on her back. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see
she was
that.
laying right next to it on her back. She's funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
She's so weird.
Yeah.
This morning I came in here to get my to get my phone and my headphones like before I went on my hike or whatever. And when I came back out into the living room, it was kind of dark this morning, so it was kind of rainy. And I noticed she was laying on her back, like right in the middle of the living room floor. Yeah. Like she's just like laying there going, "Hey, you can't avoid me."
Yeah.
She'll like lay. Like she's such a fucking goofball.
So, I think we pretty much wrapped it up, huh?
Yeah, we did. It's
an excellent movie.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it,
check
see
it.
it. It's on Hulu. I'm sure you can get it on other streaming services as well, but that's...
If you got Hulu, you can see it for free.
Yeah. I mean,
Well worth it. Real good movie.
It's just so weird that it was just like this weird kismet that we just did Wind River, and then I was just like, hey.
This is another one I get on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I have all three of them.
Yeah. Oh, and I should say too that Nick Cave and Warren Ellis also did the score for this one.
Yeah.
And it was lovely. There is a lot of country music in this too.
Yeah, more not so much country, more like Western.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the Nick Cave style Western.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although they do sing some country music. And
it
is they play it on the radio.
That's what I was referring to, yeah. Granther's Hammer said my favorite scene was the bad boy in the green Charger who got his ass kicked. I enjoyed that very much also. Because that dude was such a douche, and it's like
pulled a gun on a wrong dude.
Well, the whole thing, it's just like it was so Texas, although they do this shit in Florida too, but it's like was just like, look, I'm just this douche in a fucking flashy car, and they just pull up and like just start trouble for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, they fucking just say, "What you looking at? You badass?" And fucking
like,
there's nothing to look at around
like,
there.
Dude, I wasn't looking at anything. I had sunglasses on.
He wasn't checking his six though. That dude, another dude walked up right behind him, just beat the shit out of him when he went.
Well, yeah, because I mean,
threw his gun. Just do it.
That was just so fucking funny. This movie, like I said, it was like way funnier than it's not a comedy, but it had a lot of like funny moments like that where
it's funny because it was kind of realistic.
Yeah, but it was realistic, but it, like in a funny way.
Guy tried to grandstand, but that's not the way it went. He wasn't watching up behind him, and pow, fucking took his shit, fucking threw it, beat the shit out. Went around to the other side of the car, beat the other dude's ass. He goes, no, he was in the wrong. He was in the wrong.
He had it coming.
He had it coming.
Which he did.
He fucking slapped him around a little bit.
That was so fucking funny. I just died laughing. I'm like, if only that happened more in real life.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd have people stop acting that way.
It does happen. It's just that you don't see it.
I guess.
It happens.
But that was just real. That and the fucking scenes in the scene in the diner with that like cranky old waitress and with the T-bone. I mean, that fucking, I died laughing at fucking that.
Yeah.
That was so
It's
awesome.
bringing back memories. I mean, that's the way a lot of restaurants, little small mom and pop restaurants are like that in Mississippi. Especially little like soul food restaurants that are on the coast. There's one I used to go to. It's kind of like that. It was owned by this old black lady, and she made breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and she made it each one of them once. So it was kind of like a buffet.
Yeah.
You walked up there and she made a plate for you.
Yes. I mean? It's like she didn't ask you what you wanted. She's just like, here, this is what you're having.
That's what you have. Well, the thing is the reason why I went there is because you could have a giant plate of fucking fantastic home-cooked meal for like $4.99.
Okay, yeah.
So wouldn't you go?
Yeah, well, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and it was all stuff that, being Southern, you'd eat.
Yeah.
It was nothing unusual. It was all just traditional Southern stuff.
And I mean,
you never knew what it was going to be. It was whatever she could get a good deal on. For all you know, it was going to be fried chicken for lunch, or it could have been chicken fried steak. You don't know.
Any of that shit works.
Didn't matter. It was all the same price.
Pretty much anything.
It was all the same price, and it was a variety. So you could go. And I used to stop there for lunch. When I was working, you could go every lunch, and it would be different. You know what I mean? Like, if rarely did it repeat back to back, day to day. You know what I'm talking about?
I guess she would probably just go and like you said, whatever she could get the deal on, and then that's what she would make the next day.
Yeah, she was like that lady. She was about 60 something, maybe 70.
Yeah.
She cooks though, and she and she knew who all her regulars were. Friendly, happy to see you and shit. It was kind of a small place, but you were in and out of there fast. Because all you had to do is just pay. She
Yeah.
gave you a plate.
Well, yeah, because they didn't have all that bullshit about
No bullshit about ordering.
what do you want here? This is what you're having.
Yep.
Like I said, it's just like
Yep.
just kind of like, I don't know, probably other places
They do
around.
Cuban food here.
Yeah,
There's
that's
some
true.
Cuban places that are like that.
Yeah. But the thing about it is that when you're growing up and you're a kid and it's kind of like your mom or your grandma or whoever's making the food,
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, well, you eat what
You
what
eat
I'm
they
making.
give you. Right. And that's exactly what it was. It was home cooked meals. It just
Yeah.
happened to not be in your home. It wasn't in her home either. It was just in the down. It was in like a little strip mall.
Yeah.
You know. It's
That
good
sounds-
though.
Yeah,
Real
that
good.
sounds good. I could eat a big old like plate full of breakfast.
$4.99. Fucking a
For
plate
$4.99.
just $4.99. You didn't know what it was gonna be, but it was gonna be piled high on a fucking plate. And there might be some little side dishes. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of greens.
Yeah.
You know, like collard greens with the in the pot liquor, or it might be a little bit of peach cobbler. You know what I mean? In a little like a dessert that went with it.
Peach cobbler.
It was always different though,
Yeah.
depending on what she could get.
That's pretty
She
cool.
was just going for what she could get a good deal on.
That seems like a good way of running that kind of shit.
Made good money.
Yeah.
It didn't have a lot of overheads with her rent or anything. It was just in a real humble looking.
I mean, because
Strip mall.
you could kind of use that to your advantage. That you just kind of like eat what you're served. You know what I mean?
She's basically feeding working people that
Yeah.
didn't have a whole lot of money and didn't have a whole lot of time. You know what I mean? And it was just traditional Southern / soul food,
Yeah.
which there isn't a big difference in Mississippi. It's the same thing.
And like I said, I'll
Yeah.
eat pretty much anything
Yeah.
like that. So I don't think I would have had a problem. I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever. Just give it to me. It'd be a surprise.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, watch this movie. It's on Hulu. It's excellent. I missed it. Don't make the same mistake I made. But yeah, it's really, really, really good. So I guess that'll do it. We'll have to
Yeah.
watch another new movie tonight. And so we'll have something to talk about tomorrow. But I guess that'll do it for today. What is today again? Monday. Okay. Yeah. So thanks everybody for dropping by, and we will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.